Coming up live on LiveWire, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about a Black History History Month event, and it's a new film. And so stay tuned for LiveWire right after this. Okay, it's a film, all right. It's called The Talk. It's about the talk. Well, I'll let these two guys explain what that means. Diodonis Marquette, you are the writer-director, correctamente?
That is right.
Wow, okay. We want to know how you were walking down the street one day and hit with lightning and you thought, I'm going to do a film called The Talk, and what it's about. And you, Sir Dylan Peshek, I got it, thanks. I was struggling there, but I got it. You filmic guy.
I was the cinematographer, the director of the photography for The Talk.
Cool. And so I want to talk a little about that. People want to learn about how that happens, you know. They don't just turn the camera on.
No.
And they don't sit in the edit booth and say, oh, I like that. Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah. It's definitely a fun process, and there's a lot that goes in beforehand, but it all comes down to the editing.
Yes, it does. This I know. I was in a major film once, and I remember we were the whole day on a scene I was in. It went on the edit floor.
Oh. That's always fun to deal with.
I got paid, but, come on. That's not why I did it.
Yeah. Send me a cut.
Yeah, send me the cut. No, I don't think so. It was probably in the dumpster by the time I saw it.
Geez.
So, okay, you were walking down the street, and Diodonis, and you thought, Polly, I want to do this. How did it happen? How did the idea for a film about the talk? First, tell us, what is the talk?
Yeah. People probably want to know what that is. So basically, what the talk is the discussion that African American families and a lot of minority families have with their children. Of how they will face adversity as they're going throughout life and what that kind of looks like for them.
Yeah.
And so how I came up with this idea for this script was I actually used to shoot a podcast. And my co-host at the time was a Caucasian male, and I forget how we got on the subject, but I brought up the concept of the talk to him, of how I had to go through the talk with my parents, and their parents also went through that. And I asked him, and I was like, is there like a discussion that like Caucasian people have that's kind of similar to that? And he just looked at me, he was like, I have no idea like what you're talking about at all. So as soon as I heard that, I was just kind of like, oh, this is a story that kind of needs to be told because it's so commonplace, in Black households.
Good. That's really good. So you had this idea, but then how did you bring it to fruition? I mean, you can have people who you are a filmmaker, so you must have said, "Oh, you learned the steps on how to get the money for a film."
So actually, me and Dylan here actually went to college together, and we majored in film production at Sacramento State. Stingers up, whoop whoop. But yeah, how I got the funding for this was actually our senior thesis film. And so what you have to do in order for a senior thesis film to get made, at Sac State at least, is that you have to present in front of the entire class, and they make it go to a vote. And one of the things that you have to do is have a structured plan in how you're going to fund your film. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up hosting a film festival a couple of months before my semester started, and got a bunch of filmmakers from the greater Sacramento area and showcased all of their films, then actually connected with Access Sacramento to get them to sponsor that event, and use the funding from that in order to fund this film. So when I made my presentation, I was like, guys, I already have a couple of $1,000s made for this, so our funding will be a lot smoother.
Wow, I wish I could do that with new plays. I thought
You can. You can. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
I will help you.
Oh, okay.
We'll,
okay.
we'll help you.
It was
Both of you. Okay, cool. That's
Yeah,
good.
we're a good team, and it was really cool because coming into that class, Diodonis had to give his presentation, and he came up there, and he was like, everything was dialed into the T, and you knew that if you were going to be working on this project, that you were going to be working on something that was going to turn out really great.
This is good.
And do something good, because not only was it a great story and a great message, he also put all the time in to kind of prepare all the materials so that it would turn out really great as well, and that goes in with him putting on an entire film festival to raise the funds and getting all that even started before the class even began. The ball was moving, so
This
that
is
was
great.
really cool.
So, and people, we should stop and do a commercial break right now and say, yes, you can see this film, and it's going to happen coming up, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit on Sunday, February 27th at 5 p.m. in the beautiful ancient Guild Theater. I love this space. I think it's wonderful. You know, it's got a nice tilt to it when you're watching films or acting or something like that. It's a good place.
Absolutely. Very beautiful, very
There's,
traditional.
you know, there are some really nice old theaters in town, and that's one of them. Yeah. So, okay, we were talking about the film itself, though. So somebody had to write it, and you can't give away. I mean, the talk itself, which would probably. But you can tell us a little bit, I think, about the idea of it in terms of making it a film rather than radio drama or something like that. You know, the image of, it's about a family, right? And
Absolutely.
how they live in Sacramento, anywhere USA.
Yeah, we shot this all in its entirety in the greater Sacramento area, which was really kind of cool to do because, you know, we were heavily influenced by the people that we had around us, the community. So a funny story about that is that we ended up shooting the first 2 days out of like 4 days of shooting, and then we just had to stop. And it was because COVID happened. And it literally halted production. We could not finish at all. And because of that, we didn't go back into production for like another 6 months or something like
It
that.
was a couple months, and we had to kind of downsize to a skeleton crew at that time because everything was kind of just coming out, and we had to figure out how to best shoot the rest of the film, but minimize the risk and figuring all that out.
We definitely felt like it was a very important story, an integral story to tell. And the crazy thing about this is that we were shooting this before George Floyd happened. And so, like, right after George Floyd happened, like, I got a call from my producer who was just like, you guys have to finish this. The parents of the kids are calling us. All the actors are reaching out to us. They're saying, like, this is so topical to what's happening today. And so we just waited for a chance to do it safely, come back into production with a skeleton crew, making sure that everyone was safe, and got to finish our story like half a year later.
Wow, you're so lucky. You know, I was producing a play when that happened, and it's
What?
still unproduced.
Man, yeah.
Because the cast couldn't come back together, and I thought I had the primo cast. And
See, and that's the crazy thing too, kind of about the whole COVID situation is just like it really kind of shows how resilient people kind of are. And you know, you with your play and like it's obviously you're not making. You haven't stopped making plays, right, because of it. But there's still ways that people have found themselves being more creative, put into this kind of awkward situation where we have to figure out how to survive.
And adapting and figuring out ways to do things different, like whether that be through Zoom and whatnot. And I've seen a lot of theatrical things like plays and whatnot jump into Zoom and still continue on through these last 2 years of COVID and having to social distance. And so I think that was something that was really great about our team, is that even though we had to jump into a quarantine, not be able to see each other for a long time, we still communicated about the project and came up with a game plan so that we could finish it, because we knew what we had was really, really good and it deserved to be seen. And I'm really excited for everyone to be able to see it now on a big screen because it came out really well.
it's great. So Dylan, tell me a little bit about how the filming, I mean, if you had to stop filming, and did you have your own equipment, or do you rent equipment? And how did you lose money on that? Because, or did they say,
Yeah, right.
we know about
Yeah.
that?
And so at the time, there was also like 6 other productions going on at school, and so that shut down everything, and we were unable to get gear from school to finish the project. But luckily, 90% of the inside shots had already been done, so we were just working with the sunlight after that. And Diodonis had been saving up money prior to this and purchased a lot of equipment that we ended up using on the film, and it made it so that we could have a consistent look throughout the entire thing. We didn't have to switch cameras or anything like that. We were
Yeah.
able to kind of keep moving and kept the image looking really high quality and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen films where they switched cameras.
Yeah, you can notice.
Oh, whoop.
Hey, it happens, but hey, you do what you got to do.
That's exactly right. So, okay, now we're going to talk about this event in a while because that's really exciting. You not only did a film, you put it all together, you raised the funds. There's some pictures they want to show. I have no idea what they are, so you can just throw them on there and you guys can narrate it.
Sure. Yeah.
Arrow, ho!
Oh my gosh, that beautiful shot.
Yeah.
One of my favorite shots of this film. But basically, it is the beginning of where the mom is about to go into the talk with her son.
I see.
Yeah, Dylan, you want to talk about this shot?
Yeah, so before we started shooting, Diodonis had approached me, and what made this project really great from a cinematographer's point of view was that the director had a very, very clear vision. And so coming into the project, Diodonis knew he wanted some cool tones, some really blue colors, and then also a lot of warm tones with a lot of warm colors. And so through the film, you'll notice that the color temperature will shift, and it'll fit the mood of the scene and kind of fit the emotions that the actors are portraying. And watching it, you'll get to see their performances, and the material that they had was really great, and you can tell that they related to it. And it doesn't really feel like acting because of what they are trying to convey through it. And so
Yeah,
it's a really
yeah.
great experience to kind of the
Casting
full
is a
thing.
real thing, and here's your star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's the star.
Yes, that's Joaquin. Oh, he was fabulous. What's really cool about this shot is that I had the concept of breaking the fourth wall to have, to have the audience be able to step into the shoes of the actual characters, so then they could actually see what it feels like to be in the shoes of this kid and have the talk kind of.
So he talks to us.
So it goes back and forth. So, but for the most part, it's from the perspective of the kid as the mom is talking to him.
Oh, the mom. The mom never turns to the camera, right?
The mom. Well, actually, here we go.
Oh,
Right here.
show.
So yeah. So this is probably the integral moments of what this concept kind of stemmed off of, which is what does it feel like for someone to be in the shoes of like actually having this talk, and like what does that look like, what does it feel like, and that's what really kind of interested me.
So can we look at a B-roll slip of the? Is this a?
Yeah, we have a 1 minute clip.
1 minute
And if I can preface that, the clip itself is right in the middle of the it's a trailer. Here we go.
World that will wish you harm.
Son, what'd I tell you about wearing that jacket outside with the hood up? Take that jacket off!
I think it's time we gave him the talk.
You think he's old enough?
What's a race?
It's who your ancestors are. It's who we are. I am strong! I am strong! I think it's time we gave him the talk. If we don't teach him, the world will.
Good cuts. I like it.
Yeah, Dylan did a great job with the cinematography on that.
Yeah. So how about casting? I mean, casting is a very hard thing, you know, and you, especially when you have to have nice people, get family right away, you know, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it definitely had its challenges. I know with our process, we definitely, got together with our producer and a couple of the other students that were in our course and kind of just charted out what we wanted for our characters as they were being represented in this. And I actually never publicly admitted this, but for our main character of Mom, as soon as we saw her performance, we were like, that's Mom right there. Like there was no doubt in our minds for that.
Yeah.
And the great performances of everyone else. Like we are very fortunate that we were given the opportunity to work with such a caliber of talent.
This is amazing. You know, I have found that there are many directors and writers that have some hand over them, and then when they go into casting, the right characters walk in. You know, it does happen. We have to take a short break. And then we'll be back and we'll talk about something you can do. You can actually go and see the film we're talking about. Huh? How? We'll let you know right after this.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Oh, we're back. And we're back. And if you just tuned in, we're talking about a new movie by Diodonis Moquette. He's written and produced his film, and he's brought along his cameraman and picturization character, Mr. Dylan Pechette.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We just talked about your film, but now we're going to talk about how people can get to see it. And you have this beautiful, you call it a red carpet event. And I like it, you know. I've walked down a few of those red carpets, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. They're a blast.
So, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you plan to this, or how you plan this event? Because you have a lot of other films and things people can see.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. We're going to have the awesome, fantastic journalist Ed Fletcher. I know he's going to be hosting this entire event, which was really awesome. I was excited to get him on board. But he's going to be hosting this. We're going to open up with a Black media panel with education and entertainment specialists who are going to be discussing, how to get in the industry and what does that look like and how can we, bridge the divide between diversity. And then we're going to follow that up with showcasing 5 to 6 other films from Black directors, Black producers, Black filmmakers. And then follow that up with some BTS behind the scenes of The Talk before we actually do the world premiere of our actual film, The Talk. And then follow it with a Q&A session.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen a little snippet of it, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, we're really excited to show it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea, the whole idea of the growing up, and there's so many growing up films, but this one is very special in terms of the talk.
Yeah.
I've had a few talks, too. My parents. Ray, your mother would like to talk to you.
Oh, no.
What about Papa?
Oh, no one ever wants that talk.
No.
That's always a terrible one.
That's not a good one.
I'd rather have this one.
Yeah. No, this is really good. This is a good one, and hopefully a lot of people will be able to relate to it because I think it's something that is very prevalent and no one's talked about it. So I think it'll be really good to kind of get a reaction from an audience because that's what's cool about having like a festival type thing is you can kind of see what other people's reactions are to the material that you're producing.
Yeah, it's important. I think it's so important. I mean, the whole concept of all the cultures that make up the United States and the world, of course, but have stories about family stories about growing up and what ritual experiences exist within the structure of the family and the time of the families together. This is one I hadn't heard of, and as an event in and of itself, So it sounds really good. So can we go through the little kind of timing and the event that's going to happen? Oh, there it is, the Talk Film Premiere, folks. You can go. It's between 5 and 9 p.m. at the Guild Theater, 2828 35th Street in Sacramento. And the Guild, by the way, is a really lovely little space. And by the way, if you get there early, there's a lovely little coffee shop around the corner of that place, and you can hang out there and see all the artists who live around that area and see how they act, because they're funny.
It's an experience there, just being around.
I've been there. They're good. They're good. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen. You have a Black media panel. Ed's going to do it. It's going to talk about Black media in general or Sacramento.
Yeah, it's going to be discussing, once again, like how to be more inclusive, right? How to get your foot in the door, really. I think, at least for me, as a Black filmmaker, something that was kind of hard for me to try to figure out, and it'd be hard for everyone, is, how do I get my first steps into media and to film? Even as, filmmakers, we know like a lot of our fellow graduates, aren't necessarily working directly in the field that they went to school for.
That's awesome.
And so, it's even that much more harder for people who are coming from, impoverished areas or minorities or not as privileged to be able to get their foot in the door. So this is our chance to see what that would be like and, to ask questions if we have them and figure out, how can we bridge that kind of divide that we have.
Well, there are a number of Black directors in town, producers and directors, or producer-directors. And you're going to have them there, and they're going to have their own opinion about how that would happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many stories about getting into that creative field and across the world, and this will be really interesting to hear a couple of them.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Then you're going to show the film.
Of course. Yes, we're also going to show the film.
No.
Yeah, yes.
This is good. This is good. So then do you enter the film like a lot of you're young, I'm old, filmmakers really enter their film to get awards, like the Poughkeepsie Film Festival
Mm-hmm.
and the, New York Film Festival,
Yes.
Chicago Film Festival, whatever, whether or not it's a small or, it just shows that if it's been in a number of film festivals, that maybe it should go up another rung in the distribution system.
Yeah, you never know what the future kind of may hold for something like that. But we're open to seeing what possibilities are out there.
Good. So, and I love Ed Fletcher. I think he's really wonderful. Mariana Sosa. So you have a really good group of people. I don't know Hayon. Yeah, but he's a musician and he has his own label, right?
Yeah. He actually takes inner city kids and teaches them how to make films and make music.
And make music for films?
And make music. Oh, music in general.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, no, all of them we're really fortunate to have on our team and at this event. So it'll be a really cool mix of people that'll be there, showing, their skills and their talents and sharing with everyone.
Okay. So we have to say it 3 times: when, where, what. So I would have 3 minutes, so we have to say at least twice now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So where's this going to be and when?
So at the Guild Theater, Sunday, February 27th.
Okay, all right. And people can get more information by going to?
We can go to our Facebook, which I don't remember what the link is off the top of my head.
But what if I just Googled the Talk film?
You probably can. Oh, well, there it is.
Oh,
right there.
there we go. Wow.
Facebook.com/the-talk-film.
I love it. Okay. Well, great producers here, by the way. See, they don't miss a bit.
Oh, they don't. No. Can we have some of these, please? This is
Yeah. Look at those lights. Aren't they nice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I could use a couple of those.
Yeah. Okay. Later.
Yeah. I'll see.
And then that'll be followed up by several showcasing some of the other black producer and director type work.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be showcasing theirs actually before we showcase the talk. Basically, I wanted to be able to provide opportunities for other black filmmakers to be able to showcase their films, just because a lot of the times we don't get the opportunity to do that.
Or meet and talk, and there's no cafe for black film producers, is there?
There isn't, and that is another idea I want to tee up. Can I take that?
We could do that. Yeah.
So you've come to the right creative zone. Doing this in front of 1,000 people or something, or 1,500.
We're seeing that more. But Ray, if you have any more good ideas like that, just tell me off camera.
I'll call you up. My
keep
people will call your people. Okay, well, that's all the time we have today. That's the whole wonderful thing about television shows and things like that. I want to thank you, Diodonis, for coming to talk to us, and thank you, Mr. Pishek.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much
for
Ray.
being here. And come on back if you want. If you want to come back, you're not too crazed at my comical approach to this.
Yeah, you keep giving us good ideas, and we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay.
We'll be back. We'll be back for sure. Good.
Well, I wish you well. A red carpet event people can go to at the Guild Theater, and it's when is it?
Sunday, February 27th.
Sunday, February 27th. Okay. So, and it's called
The Talk.
The Talk.
The Talk.
What's that?
Are we starting this interview back at the top? I will.
Ario da Capo. We go up to the top. No, I really want to thank you, too, for being with us, okay?
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
All right. Wow, we got to say goodbye, and that's unfortunate, but you can actually go and enjoy this piece by Mr. Marquette. And we'll see you next week in LiveWire, and tune in then, Wednesday at 5, alive.